blacks and everybody else grew up. If you called someone Neanderthal, that was an insult. Do you realize that the most racist scientific community ever were 19th century anthropologists? They're the ones that set up the race and this, and white male humans were at the top of the evolutionary ladder, and blacks and everybody else were lower, still evolving, closer to the apes. So watch what happens. In the 1990s, now that we can do genetic tracking and things, now we do genetic tracking, the world found out that Europeans are between 1% and 3% Neanderthal genetically, and Africans are 0% Neanderthal. So in the 1990s, research papers started coming out talking about how creative and imaginative the Neanderthals must have been and how they used tools. A complete facelift of the Neanderthals that started at the time they learned this. We grew up.
Okay. Okay. You see what I mean? How these motherfuckers keep trying to change the narrative. It's all about the birthright at the end of the day. It's always about the birthright, trying to demean, defame the so-called black men, calling them animals and derogatory words and terminology concerning their mental state, their physical state. But then it just keeps coming out that, these Edomites, the Caucasians, are the devil the Bible speaks of all the fucking time. Now, the most racist, he said the most racist a group of men during the the late 1800s to early 1900s. We're talking about Neanderthals. You see what I mean? They came out, anything to stop, the belief in the Most High God in heaven, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, by any means necessary, man. They don't want you to believe in the Most High. These devils had the nerve, to, in 1859 to 1860, create a group of men called the Biblical Destruction Group. Okay? That were, their job was to take certain books out of the Bible and add words into the Bible in order to change the narrative. That was the mystery of iniquity that Paul was talking about. These bastards were out to whitewash history, change everything around to their benefit, to the detriment of the Israelites. Okay, and make the Israelites look like the bad guy. Okay? Council of Nicaea, 359 AD, started the whole shit. Anyway, let me go over here to, what was it? Okay. Bible Destruction Group, 1859. Boom. Okay. On December 7th, 1859, Catholic officials and local residents burned books, including Protestant Bibles, in front of the Archbishop's Palace at Bogota, Colombia. This event was part of an intense religious and political tension against the liberal anti-clerical policies of the administration, with accusations of involvement by the American minister. Context: the incident was a manifestation of the conflict between the conservative Catholic forces and liberal governments in South America during the 19th century. You see, Bible riots, which involved the burning of Bibles by anti-Catholic groups in America, but the December 7th, 18 was in Bogota. Right. Let's see. Biblical Destruction Group. (1860). Boom. Based on historical records from around 1860, there is no widely documented organized Bible destruction group by that name. Okay, so what name was it then? Okay. However, the period was marked by intense debate where critics like William Henry Burr published lists of biblical contradictions in 1860. The Southern defenders argued against abolitionist interpretations of the Bible regarding slavery. 1860, Biblical Criticism. William Burr produced a list of 144 self-contradictions in the Bible in 1860. attacking its perceived infallibility, right? It's funny how that it's a spiritual number pops up, right? Theological conflict. Debates over slavery often involve claims that abolitionists were destroying the authority of the Bible by interpreting it against the Bible argument on slavery, right? Okay. Why was the Apocrypha removed from the Bible? The Apocrypha, or deuterocanonical books, were largely removed from Protestant Bibles during the 19th century to lower printing costs, align with the Hebrew canon, and distinguish Protestantism from Catholicism. Earlier reformers like Martin Luther separated them circa 1534. Okay? See, so these devils have been had worked for a long period of time, man, because in 1524 the letter J came out. Okay, created by John Giorgio Trissino. Okay, now this guy John Giorgio Trissino created the letter J, but different from the letter I. It's not of its own letter. It was meant to replace I. Okay, when in the pronunciation of Iesus. Okay, which basically means son of Zeus. Now we all know the abomination of desolation was a statue at the time over 2,000 years ago, okay, of the false god Jupiter, aka Zeus, which was based on Greco-Roman mythology, okay, and of this, you see movies, Percy Jackson and the Percy Jackson and I don't know, the Trident of Poseidon or some goddamn stupid shit, right? You know what I mean? So that's just an example. Then you got Thor. You've got all of these other false gods and idols, Hercules, and all this other shit, right? And they're all based on the Bible, of actual individuals that were in the Bible that actually used these type of powers. As far as Thor is concerned, was based loosely based on not Perseus, but loosely based on Samson. So was Hercules. As far as the great feats that Samson had done, ripping off the gates of the city, stuff like that, ripping a lion in half. They have Hercules and the Nemean lion, all this other shit. You see in the movie with The Rock, him playing Hercules, and he's got this Nemean lion skin on, all this other type of shit. It's all based on lies and innuendo created by these Edomite devils in order to hide the fact that the children of Israel in the Holy Scriptures were a dark melanated skinned race of people, not these pink, bright, translucent skinned Edomite Caucasian devils, these Troglodytes that pretend to be God's chosen people. And then, it's coming out all over the internet on different platforms, podcasts, and whatnot, as you just seen in the video, of what they were trying to do by changing history. So between 1834 and 1534, Salakia, and 1860, these devils have been trying to change history, change it all around. Okay, they don't want you to go back any further than 1619, because if you do, you're going to start going off into the territory where you find proof that they started manipulating the Bible scriptures. How they've been manipulating the Bible and changing this and turning that around and everything else since the 9th and 10th centuries, when they came up out of the bottomless pit, so to speak, or out of being poor, out of the mountains, okay, of mountains, Caucasus Mountains, Mount Seir, and started working together. Instead of killing each other, they started killing everyone around them, right? I mean, that's what these Edomites do, right? Earlier reformers like Martin Luther separated them, right? He separated the Apocrypha from the Bible in 1534, recognizing them as useful but not divinely inspired nor equal to Holy Scripture. Well, it was all together in one book, right? It was all together in one book. This is just an example of these bastards tampering with history in order to fit themselves in the historical narrative of Israel when they don't fit. Another reason why they don't fit is because of the psychological, sociological, and spiritual characteristics of who they are as a people, of what they've done to other indigenous populations of people on a global scale. How can these individuals fit the narrative of the Israelites of the Holy Bible after they've raped, murdered, and pillaged and stole everything that they touch? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 17. For mine eyes are upon all their ways, and they are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes. Right? Verse 18. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double. What the hell is going on down there? That's wow. Get that Timu? That's Timu? Man, come on, man. Whatever. See, anything to distract you from the truth. Okay. Verse 18. Jeremiah 16, verse 18. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled mine inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. Pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, smoking cigarettes. They've basically twisted the mindset of the people who... Salakia. Oh my God, hold on. Shalom. I was supposed to take the rib, something to eat. I went to sleep. My fault. And then she decided to go to the cafeteria. Whatever. Anyway, as I was saying, Jeremiah 16, okay, and 18, and okay. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled mine inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. Now, the Lord's inheritance are his people that he chose from the foundation of the earth, as it is written in Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 2, right? For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power, and the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Remember, it's in capital letters. So in capital letters, that means Yahweh. When you go to the biblical breakdown online, it would say Jehovah or Yehovah, but that's based on the Masoretic text vowel points of the Assyrian script Hebrew, which these bastards hijacked, okay, from the Assyrian captivity of the indigenous population of people that were already over here in America when they first started coming over here, stealing natural resources and enslaving the people, switching them from country to country to country. So-called human trafficking, if you want to call it that, or whatever. That's been going on for centuries. Okay, but the vast majority of the victims of said traffics were Israelites, because the Most High put a curse upon us to where, because of our continued disobedience and not keeping his law, not keeping his commandments that we promised him, we gave our word that we were going to do, but haven't done until this day. Okay, that's the reason why he had to send his only begotten son for his inheritance. So this way, some of his inheritance would be salvaged, okay, through salvation. Okay, through his blood, the blood of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, whom you ignorantly, meaning that you deliberately ignore the fact that his name is not Jebus. His name is Yahweh Shai, which is the clearest, and it's the clearest pronunciation of the name that we could come to based on Hebraic thought. Okay, doesn't have anything to do with what the white man says. Now, you seen the video. These motherfuckers have been trying to change the narrative for a very, very long time, man. Okay, Real talk. It always goes back to the birthright. It will always go back to the birth. The only reason that they're doing these things is because of the birthright, man. They just want their birthright back. Fuck you. You sold it. You sold your birthright for one morsel of meat. Okay? You can't get mad at the people. Okay? Now, let's go back to Jeremiah 16. Where was I at? Verse 19. Right? O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come forth unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things where therein is no profit. Okay? They've inherited lies. Shall a man make gods unto himself, and they are no gods? See? This is the reason why the Most High is going to destroy these devils, man, of idolatry, and causing the children of Israel, by the force of the sword, to worship these false gods and idols in the lands where of their captivity, in the lands of drawing water where they were scattered to. Remember, the children of Israel were scattered abroad. Okay? We've been in 7 different captivities. The Egyptian captivity. As a matter of fact, let me go get it, since I'm on the other device with all my pictures and stuff. Okay? Let's go get it. Let's see if I can find it in here. I'm sure I can. All the different captivities that we've been in. Hold on. Laundry list of different captivities we've been in. Okay, hold on. Let me see. There it is. Boom. 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 Okay. Okay. The Egyptian captivity, 1500 BC. Assyrian captivity, 720 BC. Babylonian captivity, 586 BC. Persian captivity, 538 BC. Grecian captivity, 332 BC. Roman captivity, 70 AD. And the American captivity, 1619 AD. 70 AD and 1619 AD. See, so you see, the children of Israel have been in all of these captivities, as you can see in the images behind the actual words standing out from it. They're all melanated people. You don't see any, well, I was Irish. My great-grandpa was Irish, so we were enslaved too. You're a goddamn lie. You were enslaved temporarily until, because they used to call the Irish Black Irish, even though they had translucent skin like their Edomite counterparts. Okay? Because, our blood, and not our blood, but our seed was intermingled with each other. Okay, they used to sell the so-called Irish, okay, into slavery and the not only the transatlantic slave trade, but also in the sub-Saharan slave trade, Silk Road, in other words, that stuff like that. You have to do your own research on that, But my point being is that this is how many captivities we've been in. There's 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is a perfect number, the number of completion. Okay? There's no more captivities after that. Okay? For the Israelites, of course. Okay? Where was we at? Boom. Alrighty. Let's go down here to Ecclesiasticus, the book of Sirach, chapter 41. Right? Verse 5. The children of sinners are abominable children, and they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish, and their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. Right? The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish. Right? Verse 7. The children will complain of an ungodly father, because they shall be reproached for his sake. And this is what's going on. They're being revealed and they're being reproached. Shame is covering these devils. Okay? And they're trying to run from the shame of what happened during the so-called during the transatlantic slave trade to the so-called blacks in America. Okay, the atrocities of what they did to us during our captivity when we first got here. They have a book called The Delectable Negro, man. They actually ate us. They ate us, man, like we were a goddamn cheeseburger. Okay, they were having cookouts. Okay, if you go and read the book, 100 Years of Lynchings in America, they actually set a so-called black man on fire for uh, burn him alive. Now they wrapped his ass up to a tree and in chains, okay, and rope and everything, and cooked him alive. And they took souvenirs of his fingers, toes, bones, thigh bone, skull, teeth after he was burnt, and they ate pieces of him like he was goddamn oh, niggers don't taste too bad. Nasty sons of bitches. Okay? This is the wickedness of these people, man. And you motherfuckers, every last one of y'all, man. Y'all all about, oh, well, it ain't that bad. They ain't that bad. Not all of them are bad. You're a goddamn liar, man. If you knew the history, the historical accounts of what these people are back in the reincarnation, living out their lives of what they were stolen originally from the people that were already here in the name of manifest destiny and Christianity. Remember, these people are thieves by nature, god damn it. And y'all sit up here and y'all mad because we pointed out. This is part of the history that you're trying to forget. The Most High Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai stands outside the boundary of time and space. Time and space are constructs like a schoolhouse or a building. Okay? He's the architect of that building. You understand what he's outside of all of that. Thereby, okay, our mental capacity of what is good and what is evil, he is beyond all of that. To him, it should be perfect balance between the two. Within his building, the boundary of time and space. Okay, you people, you don't think and existentially, okay, as far as astrophysical or spiritual thought, and apply it to Hebraic thought with the Holy Scriptures in order to understand the awe, and the majesty, okay, and the awesome might of His Majesty, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. You don't get it. The person you call God, you don't get it. His name is Yahweh, which means He is. Okay, He exists. And our punishment was our people being disobedient to the fact, knowing that He exists, worshiping other gods, which is spiritual fornication in His eyesight, of us keeping our word, saying that we would worship Him and Him only, and ended up worshiping everything else but Him. That's what caused the scattering. That was His punishment. Okay, remember, the Most High is a spirit, and He controls the minds and hearts of men. While you are on your bed at night sleeping, He's whispering in your ear your instruction for the next day. So this way you won't gain pride. Oh, I did this, I did that, with your chest stuck out. Okay? Like it says in Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and as the rivers of water, He turneth it whithersoever He will. Okay? Right? Proverbs 16:4 says, the Most High made all things for Himself, yep, even the wicked, for the day of evil. The day of evil is a day of darkness, thick clouds and gloominess, like it says in Joel chapter 2. The day of the Lord is the day of evil, man. What is it to you? Like it says in Amos chapter 1 verse 18, or chapter 5, Salakia. Amos chapter 5 verse 18. Okay? You know, it is a day of thick clouds and darkness, of thick thick darkness and gloominess, man. It is nothing to look forward to, like he's telling you in the book of Amos 5:18, right? It would be as though you were in a forest and you were running from a lion and a bear meets you. Okay, you're gonna come apart very quickly, and then the animals are gonna fight over what's left of your ass, right? Or if you escape from both of them for some strange reason, you escape, okay, run into a house and put your hand on the searching for a light switch and get bit by a snake. Okay, that's going to be the day of the Lord, man, for these Edomite Caucasians, and they're finished. They know it, man. They can feel it encroaching upon their consciousness when they wake up from these dreams that they're having, nightmares that they're having all the time about their destruction, man. And they say every time they get on TikTok, they say it felt so real. It's because the Most High is existential. He'll put in your dream of you actually being there, you know, shoving you forward in time, where you're actually there on the day of judgment, being judged by the angels of heaven, seeing the Most High God and all of that, going through all of that shit already. You wake up, it's a nightmare. That's your future. Right? Remember Joel chapter 2 verse 28, the Most High says that he would pour out his spirit upon all flesh, where the old men will dream dreams, the young men will see visions, and the young women will prophesy, and on his servants and on his handmaids will he pour out his spirit. Remember? See? And this is what's happening to everybody. Not just the Israelites, not just the heathen Gentiles, but everybody on the earth. They're all having dreams and visions of the coming impending doom of the heathen nations and their wicked kingdoms being subjugated to indentured servitude and slavery by the Israelites. It's the reason why the Most High said in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 19, let me go get it. Jeremiah, where am I at? 51:19. Boom. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. See, we still come back to that word inheritance. Okay? The rod of his inheritance. Okay, let me put that in Chat GPT. What does Chat GPT say? Whatever it's called, about rod of his inheritance. Let me type that in. Rod of his inheritance. Boom. What does it mean? Oh, I misspelled it. The phrase rod of his inheritance appears in passages like Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 16 and Jeremiah 51:19. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Right? Meaning of rod of his inheritance. In older biblical English, rod can mean more than a stick or a staff. It can refer to a tribe, a scepter of authority, a measuring line or allotted portion, something belonging to one's appointed possession. There we go. We go off into predetermination. Something belonging to one's appointed possession. If the possession, which is the rod of the Lord's inheritance, a tribe of people, okay, mine inheritance, okay, there is a predetermination of salvation amongst that said appointed possession of his people, right? The Hebrew word here is connected to the idea of measuring line or allotted share, not merely a shepherd's rod. So Israel is the rod of his inheritance means Israel is the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's chosen possession, his allotted people. Okay, well, we just showed you that the children of Israel were in 7 separate captivities, right? You didn't see no translucent, white, so-called white-skinned, translucent, dead hair, leprous-skinned, leprous-eyed individuals, did you? You saw all melanated people with the hair of wool, right? And his skin is fine brass, as though it's burned in a furnace, or burnished copper, right? That's all you saw. Those are the images of the people that you saw, right? In the background behind the 7 captivities. You didn't see anybody that was so-called white, did you? No, no. It expresses covenant ownership. The nations worship idols, but Yahweh formed all things. And Jacob, Israel, is his special inheritance set apart for himself, right? Remember, under Mount Sinai, we gave our word as his chosen people when he brought us out of Egypt with a strong hand and a mighty arm stretched out. Okay? Remember? This matches verses like Deuteronomy 32 verse 9. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. Okay? Psalm 74 and 2. The rod of thine inheritance which thou hast redeemed. Okay? Now, redeemed, that word redeemed, let me see if I can. Just, can I get, it won't allow me to do it. Okay. Redeemed. Okay? In simple terms, it means Israel is the people the Most High claimed as his own special possession and covenant inheritance. Not those imposters, right, whose characteristics, whether they be spiritual, whether they be physical, or whether they be psychological characteristics, do not fit the biblical narrative of the inheritance of the Most High's people. Do they? These devils are all about genocide, and they blame it all on one biblical passage in Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 17 through 19. But they don't mention that they are the Amalekites that came up behind the Israelites and smote the hindermost of us. See? So, no, there were no Edomites, Amalekites, among the Israelites traveling through the desert for 40 years. Remember, we tried to go through Mount Seir, and Esau, Edom, being he was still alive, said, no, go around. We weren't going to use any of their cattle, drink any of their food. We were just going to go out the back door, right? Go out the back door and go around. That was it. The vast majority of the people of the Edomite, Amalekite congregation of these Edomite devils were never going to see us. But there were so many of us, you know, they decided to attack us any goddamn way. Forced us to go around Mount Seir, okay, and attacked us anyway. That is perpetual hatred, man. Okay, and the perpetual hatred is being shown in the characteristics of what these devils had done in their late 19th and early 20th century by pushing this troglodyte caveman ideology, okay, and trying to push that mentality on the so-called blacks. Remember, they used to call us pickaninny, colored, nigger, black, monkey, all kinds of different racial epithets. Okay? In simple terms, it means Israel is the people the Most High claimed as his own special possession and covenant inheritance. Not that the Most High inherits from man, but that he has chosen Jacob, Israel, as his portion among the nations. Okay? Jeremiah 51 and 19, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance, the Lord of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. The only way that we would have this ability is the Most High granted this ability to us, to break the kingdoms in pieces. Okay? And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider. So as far as all of their weapons of war, okay? Their jets, their fighter jets, their missiles, their tanks, their planes, okay? These are the horse and this rider, the pilot and the vehicles that they ride with horsepower, right? And with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. We just mentioned tanks, right? Okay? And with thee will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young. And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock, and with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. And I will render unto Babylon and all the Chaldeans, inhabitants of Chaldea, all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, saith the Lord. Okay, and then it goes on to tell you that the Most High is against the destroying mountain, and the destroying mountain is the largest militaristic government on the face of the earth. Okay, what is it? I forgot to, what was it? That war is the most lucrative business on the planet. And the nation that participates, okay, in the most lucrative business, which is war, by creating the war machine, creating false narratives in order to go to war with a nation that has no ability to fight back in order to steal natural resources, is America, Babylon the Great. You see how the characteristics of Amalek, Esau, Edom, and the so-called Americans, the so-called Europeans, the British Commonwealth, okay, all of these individuals are all the same. Even the Russians, they're all Edomites. And the Bolshevik Revolution, let me pull that up. The Bolshevik Revolution of the Jews, right? Jews played a notable role in the Bolshevik Revolution, driven by opposition to Tsarist oppression. Tsar would be another word for Caesar, right? But did not control it. While prominent figures like Leon Trotsky were ish, and some Jews were involved in early Soviet institutions, they constituted a small percentage, right? Blah, blah, blah. All right, now let me go back here to Bolshevik Revolution. Boom, 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 boom. Death toll, right? The Russian Revolution was a period of political and social change in Russia starting in 1917. This period saw Russia abolish its monarchy and adopt a socialist form of government following two successive revolutions and a civil war. What happened in the Bolshevik Revolution? The Bolshevik Revolution, October to November 1917, was a nearly bloodless coup where Vladimir Lenin led leftists seized power in Petrograd, Russia, overturning the provisional government. The Bolsheviks, promising peace, land, and bread, installed a communist regime, nationalized land, and triggered a bloody civil war, ultimately establishing the Soviet Union. Okay? The USSR, the United Soviet Socialist Republics. Okay? Now, these individuals were set up by the Rothschild family. The Rothschild family skillfully manipulated the Bolshevik Revolution to come against the Tsars in order to push. Let me just go get proof of it. What I'm saying. Let's just get the proof. That way I don't have to worry about it. Where am I? Am I going too far? Yeah, hold on. Where is that? Hold on. Did I go too far? Hold on. What the hell? Maybe. Yeah, I did. Boom. Here it is. Boom. Okay. Figure I went too far, right? Now, this letter through Albert Pike to Giuseppe Mazzini, right, who was an Italian politician, and Albert Pike was a 33rd Freemason. To this day, this is the plan. Revelation 11 and 14, right? Hold on. Right, here we go. The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati, right? Those individuals that believe that they're illuminated, that they know everything, through science, falsely so called, as it is written in, was it 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20, right? The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism, right? Now we went to Google and we typed in the Bolshevik Revolution, right? Boom. This is it, right? The divergencies caused by the agenter or agents of the Illuminati between the British and Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the other governments and in order to weaken the religions. Okay? Okay? These motherfuckers have been at this for a very, very long time. Okay? Let's continue reading about the Second World War. The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. The political Zionists are those Israeli lobbyists that run the United States government and tell the United States government, or should I say, divided states government of Babylon what to do, right? This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. Okay. In 1948, the tiny tops, the small hatters, right? The Hasidic Jews, the unorthodox and orthodox so-called themselves Jews, okay, that had never been in that land a day in their fucking life, sitting up telling a lie. We've always known that we were Jews. We've always been in that land. You goddamn liar. In 1948, they took that land. Under the the Balfour Declaration, right? I think I got some paperwork on the Balfour Declaration that provides these the political Zionists to adopt, okay, and take that land, right? Which based on eminent domain, being that there was no one there to claim it, they can claim it, our land. Okay? With paperwork, because these Edomites don't move or make a move without paperwork. It's the reason why they stole America from the indigenous population people over here, because they did it in the name of paperwork. Well, our paperwork says that this is our land. Who the fuck said that this is your land? Right? You see what I mean? This is the reproach that the children of ungodly fathers being reproached for their father's sake. Their fathers were the ones that created the whole ideology of manifest destiny in the name of their false god, Jeebus Crossed, right? To go from the East Coast and the original 13 colonies of land that they stole from the indigenous that were there, and go westward, stealing everything and killing anybody darker than a brown paper bag. Men, women, and children through slaughter. Okay? That's genocide. The same shit that the political Zionists did to the Palestinians in real time, right today, on the internet. And you can see it. And you've already seen it. For 3 years now. Okay? During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would then be restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. Now, the final social cataclysm is about to take place. The crashing of the economy. That's going to be a social cataclysm, right? Crash the economy on a global scale through the U.S. petrodollar. being that's the underlying currency of all the nations on the planet. That's the reason why the major superpowers, Russia and China and other countries, are offloading the U.S. debt. Okay, they're offloading the U.S. debt. Okay, and through the tariffs that they've put reverse tariffs on America, they're stopping shipping and receiving import and export to America. That's the reason why the shelves are going to start becoming more and more empty as summertime progresses, because the children are no longer in school. They have to eat more. Thereby, the price of groceries is going to go up. The price of gas is going to go up. The price of electricity and using it is going to be more expensive because the kids are home from school. They need something to do. Okay. Alrighty. If they allow them to go back to school, which I don't think they will. Okay. When school starts in August, September this year, okay, they're going to say children should be homeschooled, and that they should have a certain curriculum that they need, and that they're going to force the parents to teach their own children. Okay, and a lot of these women that have had children by all of these different baby daddies, it's not going to work. You see, so there's going to be a lot of latchkey children staying at home, feeding themselves, raising themselves. You see, because there's no man in the house. All of this shit was a plan, right? The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati, agents, right, between the political Zionists and the leader of Islamic world. That's going on right now, right? Political Zionists, Israel, Satan, nothing not a Jew, versus Motabi al-Khamenei, right? And the leaders of the Islamic world, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, all of these other stands and shit. Okay, Iraq, Iran, you know what I'm saying? Libya. All right. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, and spiritual, as well as economical exhaustion. That's happening right now in real time. Physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. Okay? You see it on TikTok videos. Everybody's exhausted. White privilege is exhausted. KKK is exhausted. White supremacy, they're exhausted. The people are tired. Right? Okay? We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, those that don't believe in the Most High God, and the nihilists, such as Antifa, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was created just like the Civil Rights Act or Civil Rights Movement, okay, was created by, you guessed it, the LGBTQ community. Okay? Anyway, okay, because the leaders of the Civil Rights movement in the 60s, the leaders of those individuals had like weirdo background per individual. You know, you can do your own research and find out that these individuals that instituted the civil rights movement, okay, were weirdos. Okay, well, I have to call them weirdos because I don't want the video to go down. It'll probably go down anyway, or won't get a lot of views or whatever have you. Anyway, as I was saying, where was I at? Okay, but boom. Okay, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, the origin of savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere the citizens, obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries, will exterminate those destroyers of civilization. and the multitude disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing whether to render its adoration, because under the social cataclysm that they're going to bring about, which is the destruction of the economy on a global scale, right? People are going to be looking for a spiritual way out to deal with the fact that they're going to push the radio frequency identification micro C-hip, which is the mark of the beast, right? The size of a grain of rice to be implanted subcutaneously underneath your skin, or to have the Neuralink brain chip implanted in your brain. A lot of people don't understand about this Neuralink brain chip surgery. They don't get it. If you're very, very lucky if you survive. Out of 100 people, only about 15 out of 100 individuals are going to survive that surgery. But it still does not come without its complications. After you survive the surgery, if you survive. They're saying that these individuals are going into what do they call it? Brain hemorrhaging and seizures. Okay? They're going into brain hemorrhaging. Your brain is bleeding and they can't stop it, and then hemorrhaging at the same time. So this perfect brain robot that can put these Elon Musk Neuralink brain chips in your brain, okay, that shit only works on individuals that are quadriplegic or paraplegic. It doesn't work, okay, on individuals that have mobility. The individuals that have mobility, those electrical synapses are still being activated, which causes you to be able to move around. If you implement this Neuralink brain chip in that brain, okay, you're going to shut the fucking brain down. Okay? Okay, like I said before, they already did the study. Out of 100 individuals, only between 10 and 15 people survived. That's it. Out of 100. God damn. So the other 85 people just died. Fuck it, right? Yeah, okay. You kiss my ass upside down. Anyway. Right? And people are going to be without a moral compass. Once the society breaks down, there's no and the social cataclysm jumps off, okay? The society breaks down, that's when Jacob trouble jumps off, right? Alas, for that day is great, so that there is none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he, being the elect of the house of Israel, shall be saved out of it, okay? By the Most High making us battle axe and weapons of war, changing us into another meaning, right? Of what it means to be human. Metahuman, in other words. Like it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 51 through 56. Our bodies will be changed from mortal to immortality, from corruption to incorruption. In another biblical context, in the Bible, that Martin Luther took out of the King James Version Bible, because remember, King James, his nickname was a little black boy, okay, when he was a child. Okay, hold on. King James was a so-called Negro, okay, or Hebrew, because Negro is a mistransliteration of the word Hebrew, okay? You need to understand these little nuances. These people have been at work hiding the fact that you could possibly be an Israelite based on your demeanor and based on your spiritual characteristics of who you are what makes up you as a person. Concerning these Edomite devils, on the other hand, they've been drinking and eating and drinking blood and sacrificing children unto Molech through abortion for years. They even have their own children for breakfast. What the fuck, man? These people have got to be stopped, man. And you mean to tell me you want to be a part of this madness? You better be trying to find the back door, or try to go for the front door, or jump out a fucking window, man. And get away from these lunatics, man. I would. That's what we're doing. Is we're providing you with an interest or a way of escape. You don't have to partake in this madness, man. Anyway, right? These individuals, okay, and the multitude, disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, right? Anxious for help. That's when they come in with the universal basic income and through digital ID. When the shit hits the fan, when there's no electricity, when there's no food on the shelves, when civil unrest is as commonplace within the first 10 days, that's when all of this shit's going to jump off. But without knowing whether to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Luciferianism, or Lucifer, brought finally out in the public view. This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. Okay, what would replace Christianity and atheism? Right? Satanism. Right? The Church of Satan. Right? This is their fucking plan. Albert Pike, 33rd degree Freemason, August 15, 1871. This is an actual letter sent from one man to another. Okay? Now, let's go get that scripture, right? Revelation 11 and 14, right? The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Okay? Yep. Now, okay, well, yeah, all right. So, like I said before, Revelation chapter 11, verse 8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So this is the place where they whitewashed history and brainwashed the fucking people to believe, Salakia, and from here it spread out throughout the entire earth, where these Edomite Caucasians believe that they have been brainwashed into believing that they're God's chosen people through Christianity. God loves everybody. You know, they changed the entire narrative of the Bible. Okay? See? So these devils tell you what they're doing. It's this thing called the revelation of the method. They have to tell you exactly what it is, what they're up to. Let's type it in. Revelation of the method. Definition. Boom. Revelation of the method is a often paranoid concept suggesting elites use media, film, or public narratives to subtly disclose their hidden malicious plans to the public, aiming to reduce their own karmic responsibility. It combines occultism with modern media, acting as a feedback loop between hidden truths and public, often conspiracy-driven interpretation. Okay, media and social feedback. It is often applied to modern digital contexts where predictive programming in movies or news is interpreted as a hint of upcoming political and social restructuring, right? Conspiracy analysts. Proponents often cite specific subtle images or narrative points in mainstream media that foreshadow large-scale detrimental events. Okay, where they put out movies of large-scale detrimental events such as Civil War, right? Leave the World Behind. Yeah. Let's see. The Terminator Part 2 of the destruction of Babylon the Great with thermonuclear heat, right? The implementation of the radio frequency identification micro CHIP, right? Okay. Revelations in method. Alternative academic context. A separate academic definition refers to analyzing how research, personal relationships, and unexpected inspiration shape academic arguments. Ergo, melding personal, fictional, and theological perspectives into scientific inquiry. Right? How do you do that? You make movies concerning the Avengers, and you have fictional, theological perspectives, right, being melded together into scientific inquiry. Okay? Where you had Kang the Conqueror and all of that psychological bullshit they had in what was that name of that movie? The Microverse, the Quantum Verse or some shit, whatever it's called, that movie with Ant-Man in the quantum universe or something. And then you had the Avengers Endgame, okay, where they intermingle all of these theological belief systems of the different nations of the world, making them superheroes and all this other miscellaneous type of shit, right? In order to deceive you and keep your mind preoccupied with what they're actually doing behind the scenes, right? Synonyms and related concepts. And they put the premise of the ideology, the idea of what they're doing in that movie. Thanos and the aliens from outer space would be Yahweh Shai HaMashiach and the angels. The superheroes would be Esau Edom, the so-called white man, in his military complex here in America, being the leader in the forefront of all of these other nations to turn and fight against the Lord. Okay, let's go get a biblical context concerning Revelation Endgame, that last battle. Okay, 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Let's start at verse 4. And whensoever the voice, let's see. Verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, they all burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. Right? Remember, Thanos was being attacked by the Scarlet Witch, and he gave out that last order, right? And the starship had aimed all of its guns at everybody on the ground and started blowing shit up, right? And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. So the man that came out of the sea was Thanos and the alien race, and the great men out of number came through all of those portals, right? Out of number, okay? You see what I mean? Okay, hold on. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place wherein the hill was graven, and I could not, because remember, the starship was huge. It covered up the entire sky, right? And it had all these giant metal snakes coming out and shit, right? And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, yet durst fight, right? Avengers, assemble! Because remember, it was Thor, it was Iron Man, and Captain America against Thanos. And Thanos was whooping their ass, right? Remember that? Okay. All right. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lip a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he had cast out sparks and tempests. Right? That's those guns shooting everybody on the ground. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. And when I saw this, I was afraid. Right? Because that entire landscape was completely destroyed, burnt. It was cloudy from all of the smoke and dust. And all you saw, as far as the eye could see, was this giant starship that Thanos had. Okay, then they come in with the good guys win bullshit with Captain Marvel smashing through the ship. Okay, before then they was finna get wiped the fuck up. It was a done deal. See, so you take all of this, the good guys win, which are the great multitude of men that came to subdue him, that came out of the sea, are the supposedly the good guys. Right? When in actuality, in biblical scripture, they're the bad guys. Okay? Revelation of the method. You understand how they take everything and they change everything around, but they reveal what they are fearful of to you in a movie. Okay? Let's go get Revelation chapter 12, verse 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. So those great, the great multitude of men, without number of a great multitude, okay, will not prevail. They're finished. They're the bad guys. They were supposed to be destroyed. They're done. Okay? So the reproach that these Edomite devils and the dreams that they're having is shame that they feel that they've been exercising their freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to do as thou wilt, amongst the children of Israel, and forcing them to do the same thing in order for them to feel like they've been left out. So they do everything they can to fit in. That's the reason why I'd say in the biblical scriptures that they have filled the Lord's inheritance with their abominable and detestable things. You see, pop, locking, anything they had that they need to do in order to fit in with society, to feel accepted. You see? And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Okay? Now, the Satan, the devil, that deceived the whole world, okay, are the three evil frogs, or three evil spirits like frogs that cometh up out of the bottomless pit, okay, is the city-state of Washington, D.C. Okay, let's go get that, man. I think I still got that picture. I'm not sure. No, I don't have it on this one. Okay, hold on. Boom. Boom. City-states. So I can give you an example of what the three evil spirits like frogs that cometh up out of the bottomless pit look like. City-states. I know it's in here. I got it because I took a picture of it. I had to get it. Where is that? Is it? No. Salakia. I'm sorry for making this video so long, but where is that city-states video or picture? Three evil city-states like frogs. I know I took a picture of it. City-states. Nope. Where is it? Hold on. I'm going to show it to you because I know I took a picture of it. I know I did. What was that? No, clean and unclean. All right. Salakia. Sorry for taking so long. Just bear with me. Okay. City-states. Where are you? I know I took a picture of it. No, that's not it. Oh, come on. No, that's not it. Shit. It's in here. I know it is. I took the picture, didn't I? Wow. Maybe I didn't. Maybe it's in my other device. Yep. Maybe it is. It's in my other device then. Okay. Well then, I'll tell you what. I will goddamn go Google it. Okay. Sure will. 3 city-states. Boom. In the world. Images. Boom. Hold on. Let me see. Where you at? Boom. There we go. Okay. I knew something was going on. The city of London, not part of England, is the financial power of these Edomite Caucasians. Washington, D.C., not part of America, is the military power of these Edomite Caucasians.
Vatican City, not part of Italy, is the spiritual power of these Edomite Caucasians. They all have the Egyptian obelisks and one world power system. They all have the same dome. You see? These are the three city-states of the world. Okay? This is the power of the Edomite Caucasian devils. Right? Now, going back to Ecclesiasticus chapter 41, okay, verse 6. The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish, and their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. The children will complain of an ungodly father, because they shall be reproached for his sake. Woe be unto you, ungodly men, which have forsaken the law of the Most High God, for if ye increase, it shall be to your destruction. And these bastards are continually to try to increase. How are you going to increase when you put television commercials of a shaggy caveman dressed in a three-piece suit making fun of your own selves? Okay? Talking about the Geico caveman. It's so simple, even a caveman can do it. Come on, man. Okay? And if ye be born, you shall be born to a curse. That's the reason why all of these Edomite Caucasians are starting to wake up and realize that they were wrong and they were evil in what they've done to God's chosen people. They're waking up exponentially now. Okay? And it's completely out of the control of these Edomite Caucasians. That's the reason that's what the fuck they're scared of, man. Okay? They can't control the narrative anymore. They can try, but it doesn't work. Okay, where was I at, man? Ecclesiasticus 41? Yeah. Verse. Right? And if you be born, you shall be born to a curse. And if you die, a curse shall be your portion. All that are of the earth shall turn to earth again. Right? So if you're made from flesh, terrestrial, which is part of the earth, you're going to return to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Like it says in Salakia, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. Let's get it. Salakia. I don't know, goddamn gas is coming from. Fucking parasites. Nothing I can do. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto the Most High who gave it. Right? Salakia. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 20. All go into one place, and all that are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth? See? So it didn't say a goddamn thing anywhere in that whole context on both of those biblical scriptures. Didn't say anything about going to hell, did it? Didn't say anything about going to hell, did it? No. Okay? When you die out of that body, you're going to go give account for what you did in your body whilst you had a chance to repent. You got to go give account. You got to come up with an excuse. You got to stand before the Most High. Don't believe it? Here, look. Let's go get it. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach, that everyone may receive the things done in his body, according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad. Knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. So we've been taught by teachers, like it says in Isaiah chapter 30, verse 20, thy teachers shall not be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. Right? And when we saw our teachers, we went to go inquire of what they were teaching about. That's how we came into the truth. When we found out what was actually going on and the wickedness of these evil devils of the depths of Satan, right? The sophistry of Satan, it's mind-boggling of the wickedness and how far it goes into this fucking rabbit hole, man. The Epstein files is just a scratching of the surface of the wickedness that they've done. Okay, and they've got to go give account. Okay, because the Most High Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua made every man in his own image. And Esau Edom is a bloodshedder. Right? Let's go get it. Bloodshedder. There it is. Boom, boom. Ecclesiasticus chapter 34, verse 22. He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him, and he that defraudeth the laborer of his hire is a bloodshedder. Okay? What characteristics and what type of individuals does that fit the narrative? Does it fit the narrative of the Israelites that are going to be saved, that are currently being oppressed right now by the bloodshedders? Or is it the bloodshedders themselves that are going to be saved? What are you talking about, man? Okay. No, okay, where is it? It was in Genesis 9 and 6. Right, damn, I went straight to Obadiah. You see that? Okay. You know that had to be the Lord, man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of the Most High God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, made he man. Since the Lord did that one, Obadiah 1 and 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. It says the same thing in Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 15. Right? For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. Verse 16, thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill. Why would the Most High make a mention of dwelling in the clefts of the rock? Okay? Unless he was a caveman. Right? Hold on, man. Let's go back. What did he say?
If you called someone Neanderthal, that was an insult. Do you realize that the most racist scientific community ever were 19th century anthropologists? They're the ones that set up the race and this, and white male humans were at the top of the evolutionary ladder, and blacks and everybody else were lower, still evolving, closer to the apes. So watch what happens. In the 1990s, now that we can do genetic tracking and things, now we do genetic tracking, the world found out that Europeans are between 1% and 3% Neanderthal genetically, and Africans are 0% Neanderthal. So in the 1990s, research papers started coming out talking about how creative and imaginative the Neanderthals must have been and how they used tools. A complete facelift of the Neanderthals that started at the time they learned this. We grew up.
Okay. So there's no escape for this goddamn Edomite Caucasian devil, sons of a godless, bloodthirsty animal. There's no escape. Where can he run? You can't run. There's nowhere to hide. Everybody knows what you're doing now. Right? Thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and thy pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldst make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord. Verse 17, also Edom shall be a desolation, every one that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Okay? So the Most High is telling you that it's going to have nothing but plagues and disasters coming to here in Edom. Right? Basra of the Hebrew prophets. America, Babylon the Great. Okay? Let's see. There was another biblical scripture that was eating at me. Okay. I will just go back to Obadiah then. Right? Okay. And as far as the spiritual powers, the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, like it says in Ezekiel 25 and 12, which we're about to read, okay, the Most High is going to use us to get back at Esau, Edom. Okay? Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, because Edom, who is Edom? These people were descendants of Esau, later called Edom, the elder twin of brother Jacob, later called Israel. They settled south of the Dead Sea, southwest of Moab, and east of Arabia, right? So that would be Jordan, Petra Jordan, right? Mount Seir. Okay, hold on. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because Edom has acted against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and has greatly offended, and has incurred grievous guilt by taking revenge on them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will also stretch out mine hand against Edom, and I will cut off man and beast, and cut off and destroy man and beast. I will make it desolate from Teman even to Dedan. They will fall by the sword. I will take my vengeance on Edom by the hand of my people Israel. Therefore they will act in Edom in accordance with mine anger and mine wrath, and they will know and experience my vengeance, says the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay? So, yeah, you're finished, caveman. There's nothing you can do about it. The Most High is going to use us to do it. He's going to change us into another meaning. Let's go get it. Boom. Second Ezra. Okay, another meaning of what it means to be human. Right? Okay, let's start at 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 23. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, right? The water's going to be cut off, the food's going to be cut off, right? And in 3 hours they shall not run. So is that 3 years? Is that 3 months? We don't know, okay? Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. He who dwelleth in the caves and in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, right? That dwelleth in the height of the hill, right? Caveman, troglodyte, okay? And the men that are received, right, shall see it. What is that they're going to see, right? They're going to see the destruction of Babylon the Great, the end of your world, right? And the men that are received shall see it, the end of your world, who have not tasted death from their birth, and the heart of the inhabitants shall be changed and turned into another meaning. So we're going to be changed and turned into metahuman, right? Now you have the DC universe that are filled with metahumans. You have the Marvel universe that is so-called filled with mutants and all kinds of other different types of extraterrestrial and metahumans as well, right? All of these individuals have some sort of a special or superpower. Even the villains, right? The villains, the super villains would be the elect 2/3 of our people, okay, that will on the other side come back with spiritual power, okay? But they're going to have immortality. They won't die. They won't have the spiritual power of the elect, okay? But or the elect 1/3 and the 144,000. They're not going to have the spiritual power. The 2/3, okay, will just have immortality, which nothing can harm you if you're immortal, right? Okay, so I mean, what the hell? This is a win-win, no-lose situation for Israel. All we have to do is just continue what we're doing. Okay, the Most High is already going to separate the chaff from the wheat. Okay, he's going to separate the. Okay, let me type that in. Just from the ungodly. Okay, well, Psalm 43:1, judge me, O God, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation. Oh, deliver me from the deceitful and unjust man. Okay, that's the prayer that we ask for, man, on a regular basis, to deliver us out of the hand of our enemies, our adversaries, man, because I'm telling you, they're going to come down with a great wrath. Okay, let me see. Let's go. Okay, boom. Let me see if I can. Nope, I went too far. Yeah, I did. Salakia. Peter, Timothy, Romans. Yep. Okay, well, that's fine, man. Anyway, yeah, I've been on this video too long. Right. Okay, yeah, let me get off here. All praises to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Yahweh Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone for pushing 100% truth who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Please forgive me for not giving salutations at the beginning of the video, but I was in a rush. I was supposed to go get lunch for my old lady, but then she called me on the phone, okay, and I had to pause the video, and she went and got something else, so I didn't get a chance to. So I apologize, Salakia, for not giving salutations to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone at the beginning of the video. Shalom.